So in this segment, we're going to be talking about George Eustice getting owned by the EU over the shellfish. The shellfish rules. And shout out Dano for sending me the story originally. This is great work here from the Yorkshire Bylines. This is like comedy. Like, this is 8 out of 10 satire. This is 8 out of 10. That's where I put this. The only way this could be better is if it was in a Jon Stewart skit or something. So the EU shellfish issue has further exposed the total incompetence of those who campaigned for Brexit and, having taken back control, now find themselves in a position of power. In what must surely rank as one of the most humiliating letters ever received by a UK government minister, DEFRA Secretary George Eustice has to be schooled in his own advice by EU Commissioner for Health and Food Safety, Stella. Sorry, I'm not going to try and pronounce her second name. Allow me, please. Former UKIP Minister Eustice has written to Miss Stella. I know it's disrespectful. I apologise for that. On 8th of February, claiming to have been surprised that the Commission has changed its position on the question of importing live bivalve mollusk. That stupid word. It's like, mussels and all that stuff for depurification. For depuration from what is classified as Class B into the EU. The ministers argue that the trade should be allowed to continue, suggesting that EU had somehow sprung a ban on Britain's shell fishermen. George Eustice here is acting like he's going for the big direct attack here, and then the EU are like, wait, you activate my monsters effect from the graveyard, or wait, you've triggered my trap card, and George Eustice is like, well, I didn't see no cards there.
Now end this! To disappoint you, Yugi. Huh? You triggered my trap card!
We can see no scientific or technical justification for this change, and the news was conveyed to us rather casually after the event. This is not in the collaborative and cooperative spirit in which we wish to work together going forward, he complained. So Eustace here is going to get absolutely mugged. So Miss Stella wrote back 2 days later, gently reminding the hapless Eustace that he himself had personally written and signed a letter to stakeholders on the 10th of December, setting out the precise position, the one he was claiming to be surprised from. And we've actually got that article here. They do link it, which is great. It's great work again from the Times here. Oh, actually, now we'll use the one from the full report, so it's more information there. So she wrote back 2 days later saying that, you wrote this on the 10th of December, setting out the precise position, the one he was claiming to be surprised by, with crystal clarity.
Your own attack will be your downfall. I activate Mirror Force!
Eustace had clearly either not read or not understood his own advice to UK stakeholders. Imagine writing a letter of complaint only to be shown by your own letter from 2 months earlier as evidence that there was nothing to be complained about, pointing out that EU was only applying the same rules that had been enforced when Britain was a member, and also Nigel Farage was a member of the Fisheries Committee as well. Miss Stella's response contained this ignominious paragraph, our emphasis. This was rightly pointed out in your letter on the 10th of December 2020 to UK businesses, updating them on the border operating model and specifically on prohibitions and restrictions applicable following the end of the transition period on the 1st of January 2020. In your letter, you correctly underlined that the export of live bivalve mollusks, that stupid word, from Class B production areas for further depuration in the EU would not be allowed. So this was under his very own signature. So we'll look into the actual report itself because we've got that here. So the EU Commissioner ended her letter. I hope that this clarifies the EU requirements that have been applied for many years to the import of live bivalve shellfish from third countries into the EU, and which do now apply to such imports from Great Britain and the UK Crown dependencies. Former Labour MEP Richard Corbett said, the hypocrisy and incompetence of Tory ministers is jaw-dropping. They wanted Brexit, told us Brexit means Brexit, and now complain about the consequences of Brexit. Did they not think that the EU would continue to apply its rules that Britain helped create as a member? Did they truly believe walking out on the EU would mean it would waive its rules in favour of a non-member? And to be fair, he's right. He's absolutely correct. And if we actually look into the report, this is from page 5. Page 5/6. So commodity, farmed aquatic animals not ready for human consumption. So live aquatic animals or their products not ready for human consumption can no longer be exported to the EU if they come from an area in GB subject to disease control measures. That's like grade B waters, unless they conform to certain conditions. In the case of fish, I can't read that word. Eviscerated. Is that the right word? In the case of bivalves, fish, and crustacea, packed in retail-ready packaging, bivalves and crustacea non-viable, destined for an establishment that has been authorized for processing infected animals and/or has water treatment system in place that would inactive pathogens or going directly for processing. So basically, just saying that this stuff has to be processed first before it can be exported. Otherwise, there are problems, and you can't export them. So you can't export them unless they've gone through the processing plants, which we don't have many of in the UK, because typically we would export them live. They'll go to the UK for processing, and that way they're closer to their destination, rather than processing them here and risking, the kind of the fish dying en route. Basically, the intra-community HCs was less restrictive and allowed for trade from areas subject to disease controls with conditions both for live aquaculture animals destined for aquaculture and for these words, man, and aquaculture animals intended for further processing or dispatch centers, purification centers with fewer restrictions than shown above. So basically, so this is the bit about grade B waters. Exports of wild harvested live bivalve shellfish from Cat B waters for depuration in the EU will be prohibited, as there is no EHC suitable for them. This will not apply to export of LBMs from Class A waters, which can be done under blah blah blah. So what you can gather from this is not my finest video. What you can gather from this is George Eustice always knew that there was going to be a ban on certain types of shellfish, specifically those from like grade B waters and stuff. This was written on the 10th of December. A report like this would probably take a couple weeks, say a month, to actually write up, and I think Eustice has actually signed it. Let's see if we can see a signature. I don't know, there's no signature here, but this is from DEFRA. This is from the Department for Rural Affairs, via an email. And this is just, absolutely embarrassing from, George Eustice, who has written to stakeholders about the changes. And then he's like, yo, you've made some changes here. You didn't tell us you were going to do this, when he already knew. He already knew this was going to happen. And so, this was the result of us being, treated as, being what we are now, a third-party country to the EU. So, I don't know what more to say about him. Shouts out Dano for sending me this article. I've got a Discord, so you can join the Discord. I've got like articles and video requests, so you can put that in there. So I'll link my Discord in below if you're still watching this somehow. And so yeah, it's just funny, George, mate. The question is Eustice, is he lying or is he incompetent? That's the question we need to ask ourselves here. Because by taking back control, what you've done is giving yourself more responsibilities. And so by giving yourself more responsibilities, you've increased your chance of failure. Especially for these guys, failure, not success, failure. So anyways, I'm going to leave it there. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.